So, hello class. Okay, so this is the second part, sorry, of my Western intro to the Western Civ. So, structurally for the class, first of all, the routine is mainly going to be that on Thursdays you turn in notes generally and discussions. And then Sundays you turn in papers. Now my workload, I'm known to give maybe a little bit more work than some professors for the online class, but I don't require you to memorize just about anything. In terms of quizzes or tests, I don't believe that is real method, like really helpful for teaching people, because memorizing doesn't mean that you actually did memorize it. You can memorize something for a test, and if you think that it's just good for that moment, it's like being a lawyer. You're an expert on a case for that moment, but you don't sit around thinking about it for the rest of your life. And I think there was even I remember reading once that in law school there was a kind of a term for where it's like your mind is like a bathtub in which you fill it with all this knowledge to become an expert on this one case, and then when the case is done you drain it and fill it back up with something else. It's no longer necessary. That's how a lot of students end up approaching history when they're just constantly given quizzes and memorization exams, in my opinion. Now, if I can really hammer certain points to you, where maybe even sometimes you say, Mr. Pollock is repeating himself again, or the subject's coming up again. Right, because you're not necessarily hearing a lot of this or any of it in your personal conversations or watching it on television. Here is my one chance to get you to understand the importance of this subject, and I think it's important. History is important. I value it. I have a passion for it, and I can tell you that it needs to be the comprehension of it and the methodologies of working with history will actually contribute much to your life. I'm convinced of that, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you. Okay, now, having said that, returning to the class structure. The papers you have to write on Sundays are not academic papers. I don't grade you. I grade very easy. Easy just meaning this. I am taking a topic that we already covered from that week. So we cover a wide range of spectrum topics. Too many things, right? In the survey course of Western Civ. Centuries that we're going to be doing in just a few months. So I take a point that I think is significant for you to remember, and I want you to address it in the paper. When I look at the paper, I'm saying to myself, did this student actually watch all the videos and learn the main points? Am I seeing this, the student demonstrate knowledge of this material? That's what I'm looking for. Now, here's the thing about plagiarism. Every semester, and I mean every semester, I have students that plagiarize, and I'm getting more and more tired of it, and I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be taking more solid actions against this because it needs to stop. Look, if you don't understand a subject or if you're behind on it, it's better that you call me up and try to get some help or feedback or ask for some time. It's better that you take a 0, but I will catch you. And some of you may get away with it, but the bottom line is, I'm pretty good at catching plagiarism. What does that mean? When you quote something and you don't give credit for it. Now, I want to just say something. If you follow my routine, you don't have to worry. You should. These are not research papers. If you refer to the stuff in the book, in the textbook, the material, or what I covered in your lectures, then we're okay. All right? And you don't have to worry about me seeing that as plagiarism. You could even say, as mentioned in the lecture by the professor, Professor Pollock, or the textbook, that's it. Okay? What else I want to say about that? Okay, so then this is what I recommend. So the first assignment before the paper is the video notes. And yes, you have to take notes on all the videos that I post, including documentaries or other clips. Many students get overwhelmed with this at first, okay? They say, oh my gosh, I gotta watch all those videos and take notes on everything. Look, I break up videos into short clips, meaning like maybe over 10 minutes max. Sometimes I have a documentary, it's a little bit longer. If you add up all the time that I put in there, it's still less time than you would be sitting in a classroom on a weekly basis, okay? Or it's equivalent. It's not more. So keep that in mind. And the notes are important because, let's be honest, nobody's going to watch my videos or any other video unless you're held accountable to it. And so that's what you got to do. You got to demonstrate that you watched it. Now, I actually promise you will learn something if you actually do watch this. Now, what do I expect in the notes? I write this, and later on I might post an example when we finally open up the week's module. Okay? I want you to write 2 points. So you can write video 1, or you can just like write 1. Okay, you know how like when you did a spelling test when you were in elementary and you'd write like 1, 2, 3, like your teacher would say write 20. We're gonna have 20 words, and then look down, right? However you do it is fine, but basically I need you to have some sort of numerical separation between the videos. And again, you don't have to write video 1, video 2, but I should be able to see something that indicates that 1 will mean video 1. And the note should be something like this: a comment that is okay. So if you say like Martin Luther was a German Catholic priest, 1 point. 2, the second point, that questioned the church and set off the Reformation. That's really 2 points made. You could write a little more if you want. That's never discouraged. But essentially, I just want to see that you get the meat, like an important point out of the videos. You can't just say Martin Luther was a priest. You can't tell me just statements that are also already written in the PowerPoints. Okay, it must be a sentence that actually indicates the significance of what was in the video, something that was significant. Now, what I recommend you do is first, before you start your notes, look at the Sunday topic in your paper, and then think of that topic while you're writing your notes. And then when you write your Sunday paper, you can use your notes as an outline, and you can reiterate what you used in your notes for your paper. That's not what I require, it's what I recommend, to do something like that, okay? And I've already kind of mentioned about the discussions, and essentially this is going to be what it takes to survive in my class, like what I just mentioned. I realize there will be some more questions that people will have. I work 2 jobs as well. It's very hard to survive for most people in the economy. Most of us are doing 2 to 3 things at once. Many of my students are parents, sometimes single parents. I have been a single parent most of my adult life. My daughter's 19 and now doesn't live with me, but she did up until just less than a year ago. And so I understand that juggle and struggle of being a single parent and just as a parent in general. Also, what it means to have to work other jobs. My other job is physical. I used to work at a kids center, changing diapers and giving bottles, believe it or not, and now I move furniture and work at a consignment shop. This new American life of the economy is interesting, right? And that's a whole nother topic, which I'm always glad to talk about. But we're not going into that right now. So I have strong empathy, is my point, for my students' lives that are outside of this class. But I cannot telepathically understand what's going on. Okay, so I can't just excuse work turned in late all the time, or low quality work, or no quality work. But if you communicate with me, we can at least start finding a way to try to see if what's happening in your life can still be juggled properly, and that you can continue in my class and thrive. So I will work with you on and through those kind of situations with a lot of yeah, I will do my best. But again, there's limits to each semester, and I can also help guide you through that. I was going through a divorce one semester when I was a college student, and I was going to take this African film class. It looked really great with this really amazing professor, but the workload was tremendous. And when him and I talked, and he's like, "You can't. This class is not. This is not a good time for you." And he was right. On the other hand, I had times that I struggled, and I had professors say, "You can do this. You got this," and they were right. And that's what I try to help steer you with. So my job is not just to teach you this information, but also help as much as I can to steer you in the best way for yourself for the semester. Ultimately, that will be your choice on the final thoughts what to do. But I try to be a positive contribution to that part of your life in the semester. So I encourage phone calls and texts. I normally would not do that in a face-to-face class, but for an online class setting, that's a good way to get a hold of me fast. Or write to me just through Canvas, not the email, because that gets lost. Canvas. So write to me through Canvas, text me, or call me. That's the best avenue to get to me. If you text me or call me and leave a message while I'm at work in the morning, then when I take a lunch break, I can at least contact you really quick and give you feedback. So that's the advantage of that. So, but whatever way you're most comfortable with, and ultimately this is just for the help of you in your academic life. So sorry that these videos were so long, but I hope that they're actually more helpful than not. And I look forward to having you all. And I will be posting the module, our actual week's work when we get to the weekend coming up. I will do that. So in the meantime, just look at the syllabus and watch these videos, and that's it for now. Okay? All right. And contact me if you have any questions.